I just spent all my dust on
that
this cup, actually.
On that
And
Aurora X?
I have 13,000 dust right now.
Nice. What did you just spend it on?
This cup. I just spent. I just built like the most obscure Pokemon in like all that whitelist.
Welcome everybody to Studio B. With me, I have Matthew Brewer and Creaser. When we are doing team building, we just done some wonderful core breaker. Matthew Brewer from Sylph gave us some amazing insight on the Ionic Cup breakdown. And Creaser, one of the top battlers, challengers after Wave 1 here, giving us some more insight from a battler's perspective. We've done some core breakdowns. Now we're going to do some team building. And I already going to kick us off with the B-Drill. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we all like Luxray.
We all like Luxray, I thought.
I like Luxray.
Let's do it. Let's get Luxray and B-Drill on a team for you, Creaser.
Okay.
Do you have a Luxray build? That's what we want to know.
Let's just get rid of this Ember.
And now we're going to actually do some more deep diving into the 4, 5, and 6 slot. As we talked about the 1, 2, 3 slot in the first video with those cores of Proton, Electron, and Neutron. Now we can dip into the 30 Pokemon, the 4, 5, and 6 slot. You got some Blastoise, Alolan Raticate, Nidorina, which I want to talk to you about because I think that's very interesting. Parasect, again, I need your insight on that because that looked really interesting. Muck, Seaking, Pinsir, Lapras, Snorlax, Politoed, Quillfish, Porygon 2, Linoon, Swalot, Seviper, Crawdont, Armaldo, Melodic, Castform Normal, Bibarel, Kricketune, Weevil, Samurott, Scolipede, Garbodor, Zoroark, Pangoro, Malamar, Beware, and Golisopod. So Matthew Brewer, now, Parasect. What is on Parasect that you had to make this white?
Parasect's the only thing that resists Wild Charge besides the other electrics.
There you go. Nailed it. The only water resist as well, outside of water types.
True.
So there's a bit of functionality there, but it doesn't have the moves really that it might want.
Yeah.
So there's drawbacks there.
Very interesting. I mean, the 30 Pokemon that you have here, I can understand a lot of them because we've seen them throughout our GBL run, or some of them might have specific movesets. But, I mean, I had to ask about Parasect. I was like, what's Parasect got that we're like, yeah, Parasect, sure. Gentlemen, do we want to pick something out of Neutron, or do we want to go from the 4, 5, and 6 out of Neutron?
I think people's natural tendency in team building is going to be something from Neutron. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But I think if you are just, an everyday person doing this, I think you're gonna just, your next logical choice is to pick something from the Neutron.
Yeah. Why don't we take Umbreon?
Like something that, like we said, is going to counter B-Drill more consistently than the 3 that I have on my team currently, which in my opinion is the cast form, the normal cast form, with the Rock Weather Ball. I think it's very safe, and it's going to be a good counter to some of the stronger picks for sure. So
yeah,
if you don't mind,
absolutely. When we're gonna talk about B-Drill being so strong with the poison and ground typing move, I think Seaking there as well.
Blastoise as a water type hit.
Okay.
I like Blastoise too. It's very consistent with the
What's your second move?
Skull
Bash.
Bash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like what Matthew said. Even against the electrics, the electrics aren't resisting it, right? So you can kind of just pew down if you really need to. It looks really strong. I like it.
What's the difference between Blastoise and Lapras then?
Blastoise.
I would say the biggest difference is you're gonna do a little bit worse versus the Poliwrath with Lapras. I feel like just versus the fighters maybe, because you don't have that sub ice typing.
Yeah, and I think having Hydro Cannon to really hit the Umbreon and the Greedents, the bulky things that bit harder with Hydro Cannon, I think is valuable as well.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna hit you with one more Hydro Cannon user out there, the Samurai.
Samurai looks good too.
I really like the idea of the Samurai. If we're looking at one-turn moves, that Fury Cutter after couple of metas, one of the metas, last season, got to unlock Samurai, and we got to see how quick Fury Cutter built up to Hydro Cannon, and it just spammed off.
The waters in this slot are all kind of similar. Cause you also got Politoed too, and I think Politoed's a really good pick. Kind of similar to the Blastoise. I think maybe even more consistent with the Earthquake and the Weather Ball. But I like Blastoise.
All right. Can a pick then be Pinsir? Because I don't feel we're ready for Umbreon. I feel we're all focused on Beedrill right now, and Umbreon's gonna come in here and just be like, cool, I can just tank everything you guys have, and then draw out your Umbreon. So it's Umbreon mirror matchup, and then the Beedrill can do, or Electric can do whatever it wants to. Am I the only one that doesn't see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Umbreon is one of those things where it's like you're not super terrified of it because it's just not really threatening. Like against this team right here, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I feel super weak to it. I feel it'd be something that maybe I soft lose to, not hard lose to. In my opinion.
Yeah. It's not going to run through your team like Beedrill might do.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying. But and I have to look at the sims. I don't know. I'm assuming Pinsir probably does okay against it, but and I'm sure in certain situations Umbreon just also beats it.
Well, we're talking about close combat users, so I thought I'd give us the only close combat user that we could, or the only other one besides Pangoro.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Pangoro is probably.
I have a Pinsir. I could use Pinsir. But
this is the point. This is the great point about all three of us sitting here and working on team building, is to help battlers understand, because this meta, like you had talked about earlier in the other stuff. The other core stuff, Kreezer, is that it looks really simple, but then when you really start writing it down on paper,
well, this is
look
right.
so simple anymore.
When you get to this point right here, this is when it gets hard.
Yeah.
This is the part where it gets difficult.
What about Malamar?
I don't mind Malamar. I think Malamar is a solid pick.
Cycle Cut, Foul Play, Superpower. Okay.
It's got no bulk anyway, right?
We are gonna spam energy. We do have Pokemon going for shields. We do have Tank. We have safe swaps.
In my opinion, I feel a little bit weak to Beedrill.
Okay.
But
we don't have the battle yet. What would you like to do to take you out?
No, this is the point where you're going to be weak to something. So you kind of just pick something that you feel like is, consistent and is going to do well, and there's no really a wrong answer at this point.
Right. Okay.
So I'm okay with
then
this.
my question to you is, if you feel weak to Beedrill and you know Beedrill's gonna come, do you prepare your line of threes to work around it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Matthew Brewer, would you like to challenge Kreezer with your team of 3 and our team of 6? And we'll have you guys do a best of 3. I'll shoutcast it. You guys can mute, turn off, take off your headphones. Yeah. Stretch,
So just for context, the team of 6 that I've gone with is Dedenne, Sableye, Poliwrath, normal cast form, Raticate, and Scolipede.
Alright, so we're gonna have Matthew Brewer fighting Creaser on a team that we just built, so each battler knows the team, knows what's up. I'm gonna shoutcast this, and we'll have some fun here. We're going right into the battle. Luxray rocking the Spark and right into the Sableye. Now Luxray, we talked about, goes for the Wild Charge move and tries to get that shield, and we'll see how he plays it out. As you see, tapping right there on the right, building up for the Wild Charge. It doesn't look like Matthew Brewer. Oh, he's gonna throw now. First charge move comes through. We talked about it earlier. Electrons are going to need to give up that shield because they are not defense heavy, are not able to take a hit. So this is actually interesting because you go up to 2 Psychic Fangs. So you could throw 2 Psychic Fangs here and maybe throw one and bait and get to another one. And oh, not the bait, and the debuff Wild Charge goes through, and there it is, the Umbreon on to the Poliwrath. Now we're in a shield situation now. Poliwrath in a good position to spam that dynamic punch that we heard that Matthew Brewer loves on Poliwrath, as he's going to just take that last resort. There's a shield left on Umbreon. There's still a Luxray with energy, so we'll see how it plays out, as the dynamic punch only does about half of Umbreon's health. As you can see, you can still take that damage and put up extra work. Umbreon, this is the beauty of the Neutron battle. It is able to help keep that win con, help soak up the energy. But Umbreon there, doing the damage against this Poliwrath, who can also just soak up the energy too. Doesn't need a force fit, a shield. Gonna go for another dynamic punch and get rid of this Umbreon. Umbreon gone. Poliwrath here now. Good. If you felt really good with Poliwrath in the Ember Cup, you're gonna feel really good about it here. And look at that, you get to reveal the B grade Alolan Raticate, now having that tackle, access to faster charge moves, better than the bite. Really excited to see it go down. And here comes the first shield, sorry, the second shield, and now Creaser is in a no shield situation, and that Shadow Beedrill is ready to spam. There goes the first X Scissor, and oh my goodness, hello my baby, immediate swaps, takes the charge move onto the Luxray, try to get at least a little more chunk damage down, but it's going to be the crunch. As you can see, Luxray can't take a hit and sparked all the way down. Ooh, 2 shields left on a Poliwrath. That is not what you want, and that's a Scald coming on a Shadow Beedrill. Poliwrath standing strong here in this meta.
Nice.
Well done. Well done. Now, Poliwrath being your Proton lock, in 4, 5, and 6, you can have Politoed, which also has Earthquake unlocked on it as well. It might require an elite TM there. But Politoed being able to spam off that Weather Ball, and as tanky as Poliwrath as well. If you want to do Beedrill, then go for Politoed. That could be able to help you unlock more pressure off that Beedrill weakness that you might feel is coming. There was no Beedrill on Matt's page, so it doesn't feel like you need to use that Castform. Now, Castform also has grass typing as well, a Grass Knot that would be really effective against that Poliwrath. But the problem is, Poliwrath's got that dynamic punch. So again, a shield for a shield, something you gotta look into. But Castform comes in, and Matthew Brewer calls the lead. Immediate swaps, and in comes the Blastoise. We literally just talked about Castform. Oh, this Castform is not rocking Hex. This Castform is rocking Tackle. So that's real, or Quick Attack. That's real interesting. We'll see the energy build on that, as well as the Hydro Cannon goes onto the Poliwrath. Poliwrath into that Blastoise. Blastoise rocking that Skull Bash. Poliwrath, Dynamic Punch, Hydro Cannon, already down to the yellow. We'll see what the first charge move does with this Poliwrath. Dynamic Punch. Ooh, okay, about 50% of Poliwrath's health, or Blastoise's health. Trying to get to the Skull Bash. Will he give up the shield for this Skull Bash? He will. The Dynamic Punch does not go through. Can he just go for 2 Hydros now? Ooh, Skull Bash might not even be a necessity for you if it just takes you to 2 Hydros. There's the one, and goodbye, almost all of your health. There you go. Goodbye, Poliwrath. Back to Nurse Joy. Look at that. Scolipede comes back into it, and Creaser is not very happy. The Hydro Cannon is going to do half of Scolipede's health, and there is no energy left. And there it is. The bait, the draw out. Will this Weather Ball Rock do the damage? Oh, just a little bit. A new animation there as well. And we finally get a charge move onto the X-Scissor from the Beedrill onto the Castform. Will we get the shield? Matthew Brewer finally giving up his first shield in 2 games. So good on him for holding it on. Oh, tried as Matthew shows the emotion. The X-Scissor comes through. Beedrill again, still alive, gets the last shield. In comes the Malamar, and the next charge move from this Castform will go through. It is the Weather Ball Rock again. Not going to do much. And Castform is still just tackling away. Or quick attacking. I want to say that's quick attack.
Tackle.
It's tackle. It's tackle. It looks really different than all the other tackles. But quick attack comes in. And in comes the foul play. Now the thing with the foul play, it'll do the thing. But the problem is, can he get to the super in time? Oh no, he still has a shield, but will he have the health? No! Scolipede, very healthy. So it's 2-0 to Matthew Brewer, as he is showing why Scolipede is great, why you don't need to have a Beedrill on your team, and why this team is set to go through a little bit of a change-up. Nothing wrong with changing up your team after your first pick. This is why we have a whole month to do metas and learn and build. This is what we are here for. So be sure to get all that practice in over at Flash for Everyone, as they post their tournaments weekly, daily, hourly. You can propose it when you feel right, and I'm sure 3 to 8 other battlers will join you. Creaser thinking real hard about his team, trying to lock it in, gets the lock in. Okay. We'll see again how we feel about it. After this, we'll ask the gentlemen how they felt about battling against the team and how they felt about playing with the team. And again, the Sableye into the Luxray. Oh me, oh my, the immediate swaps from both battlers. There it is, the Dedenne, and the Hex Castform comes out. It's Energy Ball there on the Castform with that rock typing. As we talked about it before, you have a lot of water typing. You've got that flying Beedrill flying around. You want to make sure you're loaded with that rock. Will Dedenne shield the first move? So much energy. They could shield thinking it's the Energy Ball. No shield. Matthew Brewer playing the mind games. Playing the mind games. Will this be a play rough? Will this be a discharge? It's a discharge. Castform can survive. Throws off the energy. Will we get the first shield? No shield, and Dedenne again can take the hit, and simultaneous swaps introduce simultaneous KOs. Sableye is loaded with energy. Luxray is loaded with energy. And it's Umbreon into Sableye. Great call on the swap in. Yeah. Look at that. Both battlers feeling like they knew the emotion of the play there. Great job. Will we see an extra swap? We do. And no, that's not what you want to see. Especially if you're Poly. Because now you don't have to debuff yourself throwing a charge move against the Poliwrath, but you do get to debuff that Poliwrath, and another Psychic Fang comes through. Again, shields on Matthew Brewer and shields on the Creaser side, so both opponents having shields. Matthew finally giving up the first shield, and now in a shield disposition. Creaser's like, that's fine, bro. You give a shield, I give a shield. We're back to Season 1 tactics. Will he get the debuff? No. This is double debuff. Look at what Spark is doing to a double debuff. Now imagine if that was Shadow, right? That extra umph of Shadow. Mwah. Chef's kiss. You wouldn't have seen this Scald. You would have kept your shield, and this Sableye would now have to be in a lot of damaging pressure. But this is great by Creaser because this is what we want from Luxray. Grab that last shield, and now you can bring out this wonderful Umbreon to soak up everything from this Sableye.
I'll take one. I'll take one win.
He'll take a win. Creaser feeling really good. Matt is not out though. Matt does not see the Lost Con. Oh, but all the energy, the double energy. Matt sees it now, puts on his headphones, and goes, all right, we're good. A great emotional battle through both of them, as Matthew Brewer showed us that it doesn't have to have Beedrill on their team in order to win a round. GG's battlers.
GG's. Good set.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
Creaser, from your end on as a battler playing with the lineup, how did you feel with it?
I need to be better, stronger versus the Poliwrath.
Okay.
It looks like it's really stronger than my team. Yeah, I was thinking Umbreon might be a good safe swap, and then I forgot that he had Poliwrath, and I was just like, oh, that's not the best. Yeah, I think Poliwrath looks really strong. I think it, so I think there's gonna be a lot of normals. I think there's gonna be a lot of Umbreons. Really, my best answer was the Beedrill, and in like certain dynamic situations, you can definitely flip that. So I think I need to take another look and maybe choose something better versus the Poliwrath.
How did you feel fighting against that team? What did you?
Difficulty was certainly trying to play around the Luxray. Like it was, when I led Sableye, I felt, well, if I lead Sableye, at least I know that if he leads Luxray, he's not going to bait, right? So, I think we saw that in game 1 where I was able to get a shield when he went up for the double wild charge. I think that was useful. So, yeah, the Luxray was really tough to play around.
And what were the holes that you were able to exploit when looking?
Yeah, like the Poliwrath was strong.
Yeah.
But the one, it always felt kind of risky, right, with the threat of the Luxray. It's one of those where, at the very least, you can call a bait, or try and call a bait, because with Psychic Fangs being super effective, right, it's going to do solid damage. So that was the kind of big worry for me. But there was, the Poliwrath was strong for sure.
He did a really good catch on the Hydro Cannon. I should have been more patient. And he caught the Hydro Cannon. But I still flipped it, surprisingly, with the shield.
Yeah.
Then at that point, shield's down. He was still in a really good position. I think that might be kind of a strategy here as well. Similar to maybe like Ember, where shield's down, or if you get a shield advantage, maybe swap doesn't matter too much. You can still win and do well with a shield advantage. So
wonderful. Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for the team building. I have a couple of teams I pulled from Flash for Everyone's. Just a couple of lines of 6 that I thought were really interesting that we as battlers would take a look at. And yes, I went with really, really diverse electrons. Then almost everybody brought Umbreon Sableye. I really tried for a diverse neutron, but literally almost everybody brought Umbreon Sableye, and same thing with Beedrill. Like, those two definitely were top notch there for the 3rd pick. But yes, let's look at these teams. Don't have to go real in depth on them, but just what do you guys see of them? What do you guys like out of these teams and how they were built?
The 3rd team there stands out to me as being really spammy. I think it's important to have a team that plays well. It's one thing saying that a fire type pairs well with a water type because the water type beats the rock or whatever. But there's also something to be said for having Pokemon that sort of play well with one another. So, like Weather Balls from Castform and Politoed aren't going to knock a great deal out. So you're going to be left in situations where you're going to need to knock something out that's low health. And so having other weather, and if something's low health, you don't want to be stuck in with a Registeel getting up to 75 energy to kill it, right? So having monsters that work well together, like Blood 13, I think is nice.
Agreed. Yeah.
I like
Porygon looks interesting. I've played with it before. If you can get the Tri-Attack debuffs, that's like definitely a win con. It's pretty glassy, but yeah, I think it has like Zap Cannon too, so you can totally just nuke something. Maybe I'll try Porygon coming up here. But yeah, those teams look fun. They look interesting. I think this is one of those metas, in my opinion, where practice is going to help you a bunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, just go out there and practice, like you said, in Flash for Everyone, or if you find a practice partner and just practice different lines and see which what you think is going to do the best for you before you start your first tournament. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I would echo that. I think it's perhaps one of those tournaments one of those cups where it's more important to be comfortable with what you're using rather than what you're actually using.
Yeah.
I think you guys nailed it both on the point where you have to be comfortable with what you're using, and by that meaning you have to know you can take a hit or not take a hit, and with that having that shield advantage there is going to be huge. So when you guys say being comfortable with what you're using, you mean being comfortable with taking the charge move, because that Dedenne, I would have never have been like, yeah, take the third charge move, Dedenne, like you're all good, like no. But like looking at it, taking that charge move, and you still survive to throw your next charge move and pull up the shield was so good in game 2 there, which is why Dedenne was so nice to have and see showcase there. So thank you for showcasing Dedenne for us.
Yeah, of course. Any opportunity, I love that thing.
So yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that
Simul KO was like, oh my gosh.
Right? It was so.
But actually, I forgot that I still had Hex on my.
No, yeah, I figured. Yeah, I figured.
But
So
actually, it's not too bad.
Hex, yeah, I thought you built up to that, and we just talked about spamming and going for shield. Hex is not that bad of a charge move on normal cast form.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, there's like you said, there's arguments for both on what you want.
And actually being able to pair Hex with Energy Ball gets you to the big hit for Poliwrath sooner.
Yeah, that was huge with the Energy Ball. That's why I think Hex would be, because you want another charge move against those water types, because they're everywhere, but you only have those like 6 electric types really locked in. So if your opponent thinks like they could just avoid that one electric type and you're throwing Energy Ball at them, now they've got to worry about shielding or even just benching all their water types at that point, because you can come out from any angle and take the round from them.
But now we learned that it's a simul KO when you switch at the same time and then you throw the Energy Ball and the rock wave. I learned that today.
We learned something. And on that note, we'll say thank you to Matthew Brewer and Creaser for joining us today on the channel to do some core breakdowns of this wonderful Ionic Cup. PBN1 is to provide you, the battler, entertainment and information on metas and regional spotlights. We are here for all of your tournament needs, and we want to make sure that you are getting what you want. So be sure to hyper beam that subscribe button, tap away at that like, or leave the comments down below. Thank you all for watching Poke Battle Network. I am Sosa Flow, and like always, enjoy your battles.